Qingyu asked Yifei what the conditions were to join the Night Watch. Speaking of this, Yifei became even more proud. Do you want to join them? That's not that easy. Their standards for recruiting are very high. But after this issue is over, I can join them. At this time, Lin also rushed to the auditorium. He informed everyone that it was safe. Everyone present was very happy to hear the news. Li was even more excited and stepped forward to shake his hand. Lin, you see, I've done such a great service this time. It should be okay to join the Night Watch, right? Lin just said maybe. Suddenly, a pistol was pressed against Li's head. Qingyu fired 3 shots. He emptied the magazine. All the students were in a mess. 3 holes were opened in the boy's head. But he didn't die. Instead, he was very excited because he thought he had awakened superpowers. But in fact, he was a monster. It turns out that Qingyu has always suspected that there is something wrong with Li. Even before Lin came to the auditorium, he had been testing Li. Seeing Li's confidence in joining the Night Watch, this further increased Qingyu's suspicion. And when he saw how attentive he was to Lin, this made him conclude that he was the Nanchuo Snake Demon. So Qingyu fired 3 shots at Li. After being shot, Li asked Lin whether he had awakened superpowers. Lin directly exposed the truth about him being the Nanchuo Snake Demon. But Li was unwilling to believe it. He always believed that he was Li. Lin lifted him up directly. Lin's angel's divine power flashed. Countless golden light crazy rushed into Li's spiritual world. Suddenly, Li's body softened and he fainted. The next second, a strong hand suddenly grabbed Lin's wrist. Li's eyes suddenly opened. He asked in confusion, Lin, how did you find out? Based on your level, you can't see through my disguise. Lin immediately shook off Li's hand. I really can't see through it. Otherwise, you would be exposed when you reported the case. But since entering this school, everything that happened here seemed reasonable, but it was also full of weirdness. Since you wanted to escape, why did you run to the piano room so blatantly? Since you wanted to massacre, why not expand the scope of infection? The 3rd floor, where Qingyu is located, is full of injured students. They were clearly defenseless. But the infected did not attack them. When you come to rescue them, the infected rush forward. These operations seem chaotic and no pattern. But after analysis, we can find that you do this for only one purpose. That is to show that Li is a hero, and he can risk his life to save his classmates. And all this is for you to enter the Night's Watch. So Qingyu, and I made a bold guess. Li Yifei is the Nanchuo Snake Demon. The second personality was created for disguise. In fact, you can rely on your long lifespan and talent to enjoy everything in human society. Why did you take the risk to plan this scene? I guess it's because of the Demon Slayer incident half a month ago. Did it scare you? You were worried that you were also being hunted by the Night's Watch. So you wrote and directed this drama yourself. And all of this, you did all this just to join the Night's Watch so that you can stay out of this mess. Hearing this, the Nanchuo Snake Demon couldn't help but applaud. It was really wonderful. I never thought that I would fall into your hands. The next moment, he revealed his true form. Lin looked at the big hand attacking him. He smiled slightly. Sorry, night has fallen. The strength has reversed. Under the blessings of the Story Night dancers, countless afterimages appeared on the battlefield. In less than a second, Nanjua Snake Demon's body was cracked with several cuts at the same time. Lin took the opportunity to behead him. Just as everyone was going back, a staff member rushed over. He said Captain Chen was in trouble. The head of the Nanjua Snake Demon was missing. I suspect someone hid the head. Upon hearing this, Chen Mai immediately ordered his men. Play the dream whispers throughout the campus. After people's memories were erased, those who stole snake heads would fall into the trap. At this moment, Xingyu desperately covered his ears and ran wildly in the campus. He opened the manhole cover and hid in the sewer, just barely able to withstand the sound of the broadcast. Then he hurriedly opened his backpack. He wanted to take a look at the head of the Nanjua Snake Demon. The next second, his eyes flashed green. He could see the bones inside his palm in an instant. Then he used a knife to cut the head frantically. And he kept shouting, "I understand. I understand. This is how it works." This is so interesting. After Lin regrouped the team, he came to the dungeon of the mental hospital. The system prompt appeared again. Unlike the previous Ghost Face King, this time, the Nanjua Snake Demon has the loyalty points. This made him wonder, is this due to a dual personality? He stepped forward and said to the Nanjua Snake Demon, "Now it's time for you to show me your value. If I am not satisfied, you will disappear." The Nanjua Snake Demon kneeled on the ground that he could infiltrate. When he grows up, his fighting power will be stronger. But Lin was not satisfied after hearing this. So Lin asked him if he would take care of the mentally ill. Just make the old lady happy. The Nanjua Snake Demon was so angry when he heard this. "You actually let me do this kind of work. Just kill me." But when he saw that Lin was really ready to do it, he was scared again. He said that although he couldn't do it, but Yaifei was very good at it. So Lin took out the labor contract. Led him to switch this body under the control of Li Yaifei. Therefore, Li Yaifei successfully became the first nurse of the mental hospital. The first time the Nyx saw him, she thought of him as her grandson. And for more than half a month, Lin chats with Nyx and takes medicine every day. Nyx's condition has improved a lot. Lin believes that it won TB long. Nyx's treatment progress will reach 50%. During this period, Lin has completely stabilized his state through practice. It won't be long before he can break through to the next level. And in a few days, the new recruits training in Kangnan will begin. At the same time, in a temple somewhere, a man is practicing by beating a wooden fish. Suddenly, he banged the wooden fish like crazy, as if he was out of control. Until the host appeared, he woke up. The host handed him the letter. "Donor Cao Yuan, your letter has arrived." Cao looked at the contents of the letter. He asked the host in doubt, "I have committed many sins. Do you think I should go?" The host said Cao Yuan had been practicing in this Buddhist temple for 5 years. The evil in his heart has been suppressed, so he can go. Before leaving, the host reminded Cao Yuan he will meet a noble person on this trip to Kangnan. If he seizes the opportunity, he can not only wash away his sins, but also achieve enlightenment. Hearing this, Cao Yuan asked who the noble person is. But the host only told him to a puzzled statement. This person stands on 2 trees, lost one of 8 spirits, resides in night for 10 years, and will rescue mortals in the world. Cao Yuan sitting in the car keeps thinking, what does the host mean by this sentence? This is a battle for dignity for the recruits. In the same realm, 239 people against 5 people. As long as any one of the 5 people's masks is lifted, they will win and graduate early. But the man said that he could beat these new recruits alone. Just now, Lin came to the training camp. The guard who received him was called Hong. Hong Hao is an instructor. He first took Lin to familiarize himself with the surrounding environment. Lin found people passing by kept looking at him intentionally or unintentionally. For this reason, he asked Hong Hao why they kept staring at him. Hong Hao replied that God's agents are rare to see. The last God's agent, who walked out of the training camp, is now the captain of the mask squad. You know, the mask squad is one of the 4 special operations teams. In the entire Great Jia Kingdom, the strength of the 4 captains are second only to the commander-in-chief. It is normal for them to be curious about you. At the same time, another instructor in the distance also smiled and said hello to Lin. But when he looked down at the list, he showed helplessness again. What kind of lineup is this year? In addition to Lin, the Red Angel agent, there are 3 people who are users of the ultra-high-risk restricted areas. One of the sequences is at least in the top 50. If there is no mask team, I really can't control them. At this time, someone pointed to a name. The instructor's eyes widened immediately. Bai Li Tu Ming. Why is this young master here too? After learning about the training camp, Lin came to the dormitory. While he was checking the beddings, suddenly, a burly man in a suit rushed in. After looking around, he said to the intercom, confirming it was safe, let the young masked come in. A group of security guards came in carrying things. Then they stood on both sides. They left a path for the young man. As soon as the young man entered the room, he held Lin's hand tightly. He called him brother with a beaming face. This really made Lin unable to handle it. Then the boy asked the security guard to bring out all the gifts. He said his name was Bai Li Tu Ming. You can call him Pang Pang. These watches are his hometown's souvenirs. They are not valuable. He let Lin take whatever he wants. Don't be polite. Lin briefly introduced himself. Then he rejected Pang Pang's kindness. He turned and left. 2 days later, the training of new recruits began. Chief Instructor Yuan Gang insulted the new recruits on the stage. He said that these rookies were worse than trash. At this time, a teenager subconsciously made a contemptuous sound. Yuan Gang immediately became interested after hearing this. What's the problem? Is there anyone dissatisfied? The young man raised his hand first to express his dissatisfaction. The next second, more and more people in the crowd raised their hands. Seeing this, Yuan Gang roared, since so many of you are dissatisfied, then I will give you a chance. A chance to recognize yourselves. At this moment on a plane, the masked team was eating barbecue. The next second, the bottom of the cabin suddenly opened. Several people fell straight down. They all posed handsomely on stage. Seeing the majestic masked team, a heated discussion broke out in the audience. Everyone didn't expect the camp actually invited the masked team. And their appearance was so handsome. Seeing this, Yuan Gang smiled and said, "Who told you not to accept it? I'll let you know who you are. Let you know what a real top player is." So Yuan Gang began to announce the rules. All members of the masked team suppressed their own realm to the teacup realm level. 239 new recruits versus 5 members of the masked team. No matter what means the new recruits use, as long as they can remove the mask of any one of the masked team, anyone's mask. And that counts the recruits winning. The battle time is from now to 9 p.m. It will prove that you are really awesome. I will allow early graduation tomorrow for all of you. But if no one does it before 9 p.m., that proves that you are indeed trash. Afterwards, just throw your ridiculous pride and arrogance into the toilet. Do whatever the instructor tells you to do. Got it? If you need weapons, you can find it in the warehouse. The instructor team left the scene after that. Many recruits on the scene immediately became dissatisfied. So arrogant, they thought they had the same realm level. It was just a difference in combat skills. No matter how powerful the masked team is, we can kill them with more than 200 people. The masked team simply looks down on us. Attack, brothers. Kill them. The next second, the field was ablaze. Everyone started to attack. But at this time, Lin pulled Pang Pang to run to the back. Pang Pang was a little puzzled by this. He asked Lin Mingming that it looks like the masked team was about to be destroyed. Why should we run? Hearing this, Lin explained calmly, how could the special team be defeated so easily? Their combat power is still completely unknown, without knowing their forbidden abilities and their fighting style. We rushed forward rashly is like committing suicide. It's just as Lin said. The new recruits who launched the attack at this moment not only didn't hurt the masked team at all, but also got them knocked away by one attack. And at this moment, Lin took Pang Pang to the armory, but they found that the door of the armory was locked. Since his forbidden ruins did not have the ability to cause large-scale destruction, so he asked Pang Pang to try using the forbidden ruins. But Pang Pang said that he did not have any forbidden ruins. Lin was stunned when he heard Pang Pang's words. Lin asked Pang Pang how he got into the night watch. Suddenly, a red-haired woman ran over. A strong aura emerged from her body. The next second, the door of the armory was smashed to pieces by her. So Lin asked her, "Is it a super high-risk forbidden ruins?" But the woman's attitude was arrogant. "Why should I tell you? Who do you think you are?" Instantly, Lin swung his sword straight at the woman's neck. This was the most humiliating battle for the recruits. In the presence of many people, 40 new soldiers were surrounded by 4 veterans. And the 40 people could only stand there and be beaten. The veterans even mocked them as chicks in a chicken coop. Just now, Lin suddenly swung his knife at Jasmine. Jasmine instinctively wanted to draw her sword, but she soon discovered something was wrong. A sword appeared suddenly in the air. It collided with Lin's sword. Seeing this, Jasmine quickly drew for the enemy vigilantly. Suddenly, a figure appeared out of nowhere. He is Moon Ghost from the masked team. Moon Ghost asked, "You are the agent of the Seraph, right?" The aura on his body is very similar to that of the captain. No wonder you can tell my presence. But Jasmine didn't want to waste time talking to him. She directly opened the Forbidden Ruins to fight the Moon Ghost. She cut off the Moon Ghost's right hand with one knife. But in the next second, the Moon Ghost's arm was instantly restored. Jasmine was shocked to see this. How could this be possible? Rapid regeneration can't be that fast, right? Lin, who saw through everything, explained at this time. Your attack didn't touch him at all, because the moment your slit blade touched his body, he decomposed his arms into moonlight, avoided the attack. Hearing Lin's words, the Moon Ghost smiled. Sure enough, the Red Angel agent is the most dangerous. Then I have no choice but to kill you first. Suddenly, a huge explosion sounded nearby. I saw a group of new recruits holding weapons. They shouted excitedly, "Brothers, seize the opportunity. Blow off his mask and you'll win." Instantly, countless bullets were fired at the Moon Ghost, but none of them hit him. He saw the Moon Ghost coming towards him, but couldn't hit him. Many recruits were dumbfounded. Instantly, the Moon Ghost rushed in front of them. Just when Moon Ghost wanted to kill them with his sword, suddenly Moon Ghost felt a strong pressure. Then he could no longer use his Forbidden Ruins Moon Transformation ability. Then Lin held the sword and fought with Moon Ghost. Suddenly Lin retreated violently, shouting, "Fire now!" But when the recruits were ready to shoot, their weapons actually floated up by themselves. The masked team members Uzumaki and Rose came out. They said happily. The mouse hiding in the hole finally came out. "You are surrounded by us. You should surrender quickly." The Moon Ghost rushed to his teammates at this time, said that it was fortunate that you arrived in time. There is a god agent among the new recruits. They almost defeated him. Uzumaki laughed when he heard this. What can a god agent do? He is just a new recruit now. See how your grandfather Uzumaki trained him. Rose couldn't stand it anymore. Immediately waved her hand. Let them quickly resolve the fight. Feeling the oppression, Jasmine's face was solemn, looking at Lin. What to do now? Did you want to fight them? Lin told her not to act rashly. Then Lin shouted to the other recruits, "Everyone listen to me. No matter how powerful the masked squad is, they are only for people. Even if we can't win, but as long as everyone can break through at the same time, there is definitely a chance of escape." When the recruits heard this,